And welcome back. I hope you've all been doing well. So today's video, I want to take some time to talk about crypto mining and Linux and show you how you can mine some cryptocurrency on your Linux machine. So in particular, we're going to talk about Monero, mining Monero, XMR, and we're going to walk through the process of installing the wallet and configuring the wallet and getting up and mining. We're also going to talk a little bit about mining some Dogecoin using XMRig and the mining platform Unminable. And then we're going to tie it all together into our main wallet, which I'm using Exodus. So we're going to cover the installation and setup and configuration of all three of these. And then we're going to do this in a hypervisor. Since I already have this running on my machine, I'm going to open up a hypervisor with Linux Mint, and we'll go through the entire process on Linux Mint. But it's the same steps, the same processes that you would take on Ubuntu, Mint, and Pop OS. So we'll start off the video briefly talking about what Monero is and what Dogecoin is, and then we'll open up the hypervisor. We'll go ahead and go into Linux Mint, and we will start with Dogecoin mining. We'll get that set up and step by step and configured, and then we'll go through the setup and configuration of the Monero wallet and get that up and running. And then we'll wrap it up with setting up Exodus, installing and running Exodus. And then we'll finally wrap it up with a quick outro. So I thank y'all for watching. So let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, so we're in our hypervisor running Linux Mint, and we're going to go ahead and set everything up in here as far as installation and setup and configuration. And then we'll go back to my actual installs to talk about some of the remaining topics we need to cover real quick. So the first thing we need to do before doing any mining is we need to get a wallet. So the wallet I'm using, again, as I mentioned before, is Exodus, and that's a very simple install. Just go to your particular store, whether it's Pop Shop or the Linux Mint shop, whatever shop you're using, and it should be in there. So up in the search, just type in Exodus. It should be the only option, and there it is. So we can go ahead and install it. There's the flat pack version. I guess that's good enough for demonstration purposes. And while we're in here, we need to install something called GTK hash, and we'll talk more about that when we get to downloading our XMRig. So go ahead and clear out Exodus and type in GTK, and GTK hash should be the second option, and there it is. So this may require you to install a couple of dependencies. If it does, just click yes, like I did here. Hit continue, put in our password, and authenticate. And once we're installed, we're good to go. All right, so we can go ahead and close out of our store. Now let's go into our wallet real quick. We want to type in Exodus in our search, and there it is. Maybe a little bit slower because I am on a hypervisor. Let's go and bring this up. We're looking at Doge right now, so we need to go to our receive real quick, and this is going to be the address that we're going to need when we do our configuring of XMRig. So we have that ready to go. So let's go to a web browser and simply type in XMRig, select it, and we want to go to download XMRig, and then select the Ubuntu tab. So I had mentioned before about a little caveat for Pop OS. Pop OS, the Noble Numbat is not going to work, and that is because Pop OS is still using glibc 2.35, and this application requires glibc 2.36. So I recommend go ahead and grabbing Jammy Jellyfish. So we'll just do that. And we have a warning. The software is a cryptocurrency miner. It may be flagged by your antivirus. Yes, we understand. We don't care. I understand. And then go ahead and download it. Now, before we close out of this, let's go ahead and copy this key, the SHA-256 key, highlight it and copy it. And now we're going to go open up our GTK hash. And let's go ahead and paste that in the check. In the block that says check, we'll paste the key we just copied from the web page. And up where it says file, it says none. We'll go ahead and click on that, and we are going to go to our downloads and select the XMRig 6.22.0 jammy. Hit OK, and then hit hash, and we are good to go. And checking these keys against each other is a good way to ensure that we're not downloading something malicious or fraudulent. So So since we check out, we're good to go. We got green on both. Go ahead and close that out. And we can go ahead, since we're here in the web browser, let's just go to Unminable. And we're going to go to Unminable Bitcoin BTC mining pool. Click on that link. All right, start earning Doge. So we want to come down here to where it says View All. It's showing a variety of different options of cryptocurrency. Type in the word Doge, and we want to select Dogecoin. Now, I recommend doing CPU mining, so that's what this tutorial is about. It's focused on CPU mining, so we're going to use the mining pool RandomX. So make sure that's clicked on, make sure it's highlighted. You can tell by the darkened border around it. And this information here we're going to need for our configuration file to run XMRig. So we're going to need this URL, we're going to need this port number, and then from our wallet, our Exodus wallet, we're going to need our address. All right, so we can go ahead and minimize this for right now. Actually, before we minimize this, go ahead and click on where it says global XM or rx.unminable.com. Just click on it and it'll automatically copy it. So we can minimize this. Now let's go into our downloads directory. Double click on the tar file for XMRig, hit extract. We can put it right in the downloads folder. You can put yours where you want. I happen to keep all my crypto mining stuff in my my documents directory on my main PC or my main rig. All right, so let's go and open this up. And we have 3 files in here. We have the SHA-256 sums, we have the actual executable XMRig, and then we have the config.json. So let's go ahead and double click on that and open it up. Now, you're going to have to scroll down a little bit. I'd say maybe about halfway down until you see donate level 1. Go down a little bit further till you see the URL, and it's going to say donate.v2.xmrig.com. We want to take that out, and then hit Control V to paste in the URL from the Unminable site, rx.unminable.com, and it should say colon and then 3333 for the port. And if we go back to the Unminable site, it does tell us in fact to use port 3333 or 13333 and 80, etc. So let's go ahead and minimize this again. Now we need our address, our wallet address. So let's go into our Exodus wallet, and then let's copy this Dogecoin address. Go ahead and minimize that. And right below the URL, it says user. So there's a little twist to this. So let's go ahead and take that out, leaving in the quotation marks. We're going to start the string with the word Doge capitalized, DOGE hyphen, and then immediately after that, with no spaces, hit Control V, put in our address. Now we're going to put a dot, and we're going to give this a nickname. So you can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call mine test. And we're finished here. So go ahead and save this and close out of it. So now we are configured. So now to run XMRig, you can right click in here and open in terminal. And we're simply going to type sudo ./xmrig, hit tab, it'll finish it for us. Hit enter, put in our password. And we are now mining. So you can minimize this or put off on a different screen if you're running a multi-screen setup. And then to check to make sure that we're mining, if we go back to our unminable site, and over here on the right hand side it says enter your address to check your status. Right click in there and just hit paste since we already have it copied, our address copied, and then hit the green button. And you can see that right now here's our address. We're live. Well, we are technically live, but it takes a few minutes for it to actually show. And then this will be your balance of how much Dogecoin that you have mined. Now, once you hit 30 Dogecoin, you can then pay out. You can transfer that to your Exodus wallet. So that's it. So we are actually mining Dogecoin on a hypervisor on Linux Mint on a Pop OS machine. It's that easy. It's that simple. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out for now because I think we're done with this. And I'm going to just close this out, stop mining, close the terminal, and we're shut down. All right, so Now we're going to move on to mining Monero. I'll be right back. All right, so now we're going to talk about mining Monero. This is also a very easy process, very easy to do on your Linux machine. So the first thing we need to do is open up a web browser and type in Monero. Hit enter or search. Come down and you'll see Monero, www.getmonero.org. Go down to the downloads link, click on that, and scroll down a little bit until you see Linux 64-bit. We're going to click on that link, and it's going to download for us. It'll take a few moments. Don't know if you can hear Junior meowing or not, but he was exiled from the office temporarily because he was trying to use the keyboard as a dance floor while I'm trying to work. So he got booted. Not happy about it, but he'll be allowed back in once I'm finished. All right, so now we're downloaded. We can go ahead and close off our browser. We won't need it anymore. Let's go into our downloads directory and double click on the tar file. Open it up, and it's going to take a moment for it to read, and then we'll extract it. Again, you can extract it wherever you want. I think I mentioned before, I keep all of my crypto stuff in my documents directory on my Pop! OS install, but you do you. In this case, because this is just an example, I'm going to leave it in the downloads directory. Hit extract, and it's going to take a moment for it to finish the extraction. And we're done. Okay, so go ahead and go into that directory and just simply double click on the Monero wallet GUI.app image. It'll take a second for it to start up. Yes, I would like to register a GUI desktop entry. Hit yes. We want English. We want advanced mode, so we're going to click on that. We're going to create a new wallet. And we're going to call the wallet, call it whatever you want. I'm going to call mine test, since this is just an example. Hit next again. So here's the first time we've encountered a recovery phrase. I highly encourage you to buy a notebook and write this down. Number one, apology. Number two, ruthless, etc. But in this case, because this is just an example, a how-to guide, I'm going to take a picture of it with my phone. So we are going to need to reference this very soon. But again, I highly encourage you to write this down, because if you lose this, and you are out of luck. So we'll hit next. So we need to fill this in as a test. So number 4, back to my phone, and go back to my photos. And number 4 is rodent. Number 9 was moon. And you'll need this recovery phrase, as the name implies, to recover your wallet if you ever lose it, forget your password, or etc. Puppy for number 12. Number 18 was pylons. And number 23 is athlete. All right, we're good to go. So we'll hit next. Now, a password. Also, I recommend writing this down as well and keeping it somewhere safe. But for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to type in 1234, 1234, and we'll hit enter, or next, I mean. And start mode automatically in the background recommended. We want to go ahead and do that. And then hit create wallet. Put in our password. Whoops, 1234. Okay, now we're in our wallet. So it's going to start the local node. It takes a few seconds. And the worst part about this installation is that you're going to be downloading the entire blockchain, and it's over like 150 gigabytes, I think. It's massive. So if you don't have the storage for this, this may not be an option for you at this point in time. But you can see there's 3 million blocks in the blockchain. So we're downloading the entire blockchain. And it is quite massive. I have a pretty decent PC, and I've got gigabyte internet, I should say. And it took me almost 12 hours to download the entire thing. So it is huge. So the requirements for this, and I probably should have mentioned this before we started it, is that you need some pretty substantial space storage that you can free up and use. That's not going to interfere with your day-to-day computing needs, and you need some pretty fast internet initially. So while this is downloading here, we can go ahead and go to our advanced, and you want to change the mining mode to P2 pool. So you're using a pool. Now the CPU thread count, I was going to talk about this in the next section, but I'll go ahead and talk about it now since we're sitting right here looking at it. The number of threads dedicated to the mining process. So I've got max I can set up on the hypervisor is 16. It's 32 on my Pop OS install. I typically don't go higher than 16. If I want to run it in the background, I'll crank this down to maybe 4 threads just to have it mining, or I'll just shut the thing completely down. When I go to bed, or if I'm gone during the day, or if I'm out of town, I'll crank it up to as high as 20 threads on my Pop OS, or 16 to 20, give or take, and just let it run. So we also want to take a look at what else was there. Go to settings. The node, we're still downloading it, so we're doing a local node. The blockchain is downloaded to your computer, provides higher security, requires more local storage. We kind of talked about that, and that's what it's doing right now. It's downloading the blockchain. You can do a remote node, use a third-party server to connect to the Monero network, less secure, but easier on your computer. I have not messed with that yet. I prefer doing the local node. So if you want to give that a shot, feel free. Unfortunately, I can't give you much guidance on that because, again, I have not used it. All right, so go back to the wallet, and you can see your show your seed and keys here. And one thing we are going to need is our wallet address. So if we want to send Monero, so let's say you mine a full Monero here, and you want to send it to your Exodus account. It's very simple. What we'll do is we'll come over here to our search. We'll type in Monero, and we're going to put in receive. So this is the Monero address of our wallet for Exodus. We're going to click on that, copy it. We're going to minimize this. And over here where it says send, simply paste it in there. Type in the number of Monero that you want to send. Let's say 1,000. I wish I had 1,000 XMR, but I do not. And it'll tell you amount is more than the unblocked balance. And then you would simply hit send, and it would transfer that amount of crypto into your Exodus account, and it would show up here in your grand total. So that's pretty much it. So once the blockchain finishes downloading, you'll come over here to your advanced setting and just simply hit start mining. Once you select the number of CPU threads you want to dedicate to it, hit start mining, and it'll do its thing. It'll take off and start mining for you. And it'll update up here with the number of crypto that you have mined. It'll show up here in your primary account. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to go back to my Pop OS install. We'll cover a couple more quick things, and then we'll wrap up the video. All right, so kind of recap a little bit. Going back to mining the Dogecoin, going to your directory, start it up, and it mines in my documents, crypto mining, Doge mining. My XM rig is opening this up with a terminal. And we're going to type in sudo /xm, hit tab, finish it up, put in the password, and we're good to go. So this can be drag and drop wherever you want. You can minimize it. You can put on, like I said, a different screen if you're using multiple monitors like I am. So I'm just going to kind of drag it out of the way a little bit. It's going to be a bit slow and sluggish because it's eating up a lot of CPU and I'm recording at the same time. So we'll go ahead and close this out and go back into Chrome. Let me quit it first. All right, go back into Chrome. Again, really sluggish because it does eat up quite a bit of CPU. And I know you can go into the config file and change the number of threads that you're using. I have not done that, but let's go ahead and take a look at bookmarks. Let's go to unminable. So we're up to 0.5, we're up to a half a Dogecoin. And I've been running this for a little bit. Maybe I ran it overnight, testing it, and I ended up creating a new account very early on this morning, and I'm already up to a half of a Dogecoin. So basically the mining activity that we're doing is uploading our rewards to our unminable account, and then we can transfer that. To our Exodus wallet. Type in Doge, go to Dogecoin. We can transfer that to our Exodus wallet once we hit the 30 Dogecoins. So once we get the 30 Dogecoins, we can then transfer them to Exodus and keep them there and do what we want with them. So I'll close this out. Let me go ahead and stop this mining because it's devouring CPU. And open up Monero, put in my password. All right, so again, you can see I'm only using 8 cores when I was mining with this earlier because I was working on the PC. I've already downloaded the blockchain, so this will need to be updated occasionally because the blockchain does grow. So what will happen is if you go for a week or 2 weeks or even longer, it's going to take longer for you to sync, and it's going to take longer for you to get back into the mining. So I'm kind of going back and forth a little bit. I'll mine some whenever I'm not using the PC. I'll either throw some Dogecoin up, let it mine for a while, or throw up some Monero and just let it mine for a while as well. Then when I need to do something on my PC, if it's not going to be intense, I'll just crank down my cores to maybe 4, or my threads down to about 4 or so. Just let it run in the background. If it's something that's going to be intense, like playing some Dirt Rally, or right now I'm playing through Dead Space again, that's pretty demanding on resources, so I'll just shut the whole thing down and just forget about it. But if I'm watching YouTube videos, or just browsing Tor or something like that, I'll just crank it down. For video editing, I'll go ahead and just turn it completely off because Caden Live is pretty CPU intense, so I don't want it competing and causing a bunch of lag and a bunch of issues. But anyway, so that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you've gotten something of value out of it. I hope you consider mining some crypto just for the fun of it. You're not going to get rich doing this. The Dogecoin's only at 10 cents per coin, and I don't know where it's going to go, if it's going to go up higher than that or not. I can't predict the future. But Monero is at $148 per coin right now, and it is a pretty valuable coin to have if you want to be anonymous with your purchases online. Of course, you have to find vendors who are willing to accept the Monero. And doing some reading and research, there are ways to convert your crypto into other crypto, like, for example, converting your Monero into Bitcoin or converting your Doge into Bitcoin. Something that's a little bit easier to convert into fiat. But, that's up to you. But again, I wouldn't go into this thinking you're going to be a millionaire within 12 months because you're mining Monero on your Linux machine. It's more of a hobbyist thing, something fun to do. And just another example of what you can do with Linux and just how far Linux has come. So with all that said, I thank you for watching. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing because it really helps me out to reach my first milestone, which I'm almost there. And consider liking the video if you'd like to see more Linux and crypto type topics combined. And I will have episode 29 of the Steam Library playthrough up probably tomorrow night. And then we'll be covering part 4 of our terminal review for Linux, probably on Friday, maybe Saturday-ish, and then we'll wrap it up with a week in review on Sunday. So I've got quite a bit of work to do to get these videos out, so I appreciate you all bearing with me. For those of you who are pretty consistent in watching the content and understanding just how busy I am during the summer months, and trying to work time in here to get this content out there, because I really do hope it does help some folks out, even if it helps 1 or 2 people out. Trying out Linux for the first time, or maybe they're stuck on something and one of my guides helped them get past that. It makes it all worth it in the end. So again, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of the week, and I hope to see you in episode 29 of the Steam Library playthrough. And until then, have a good one and stay safe out there.